I don't have a problem with YG. I like YG as an artist. I Did I ever meet YG? I think I may have met YG. I interviewed YG before. Very cool guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. YG Academics. I think we did on Everyday Struggle, right? So like, also here's the thing too, bro. I'm not trying to start beefs because I'm like Team Drake. Because put it like this, and we're gonna get to it later. With the exception of Popcorn, bro, even Drake friends ain't trying to like, really start beefs on his behalf. Yeah, here it is. So nigga, I met him, whatever. Yeah, right here. I was on the episode, right? Yeah, of course. Is this Skinny Ack? Is this Skinny Ack? Ooh, Skinny Ack right here. Okay. Anyway, am I skinny here? I don't know. Anyway, here's the point. Because of this beef and because it now is politics, I feel that rap news has become. YG dropped an album, and I seen what happened with the Mustard thing. I wasn't trying to tweet out Mustard's album sales to be funny. I wasn't trying to sneak this. I wasn't trying to shit on him. I wasn't trying to do none of those things. I was just trying to do what I normally do. This is what's going on in hip hop. Now, clearly, and I'm not gonna be like a hypocrite. Of course, I have a bias at times. Like when me and Quando Rondo wasn't cool. Of course, I couldn't wait for him to flop. When me and Meek, well, still now, if Meek drop a project, I'm gonna be like salivating with. I'm going to drop A, B, and C to motherfucking expose or like whatever about. But me and YG, we have nothing. And the fact that YG was dancing on stage at the Kendrick concert, again, I understand why Drake might feel a way about it, but I don't feel a way about it. I really just don't, okay? I really just don't. So maybe Drake has something against it, but I have nothing against him. So I didn't want to be the first one to post it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, the real sales for YG, I think it was actually 6,900 or 6,800. It's not even 8K, truth be told. Right? It's really not. And I'm not saying that to diss him, right? Because I get numbers a certain way. I don't know how other people's get numbers. This you can find on His Daily Double or some of these other sites that normally report it. But anyway, it was 151 on the Billboard charts. I don't know if Billboard reported this, but anyway, there was a hip-hop page. It wasn't me. It was another hip-hop page on Twitter. We got the screenshot from them. They reported that Just Read Up sold 8,000, which, by the way, listen, if somebody sold around 6,800, give them that 8,000. Cool, bro. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? So 8,000 first week, and it debuted 151 on this week's Billboard 200. Okay? Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't really have an opinion on it. I haven't thought YG was really that hot for a good while now. I've kind of looked at YG and been like, yo, he's kind of a legend on the West Coast realm, but we haven't heard a popular YG song in a while. And I don't think I'm disrespecting by saying that. I think that's very fair. Anyway, he sold 8,000 records first week. Okay? A lot of people are laughing at it. Some people be like, yo, that's the curse of going against Drake, this and third. Nah, that's not what it is. YG just isn't relevant, bro. I'm sorry. He's just not selling a lot of records. Like, I think YG nowadays is starting to realize, I have this whole, and y'all gonna realize through the stream, this whole conversation we're gonna have today is there's a lot of like ebbs and flow in the industry that I think rappers are realizing. Yo, like, wait till I get to the Dirk segment. I got a whole thing for Dirk. Bro, this year, I get it that, and matter of fact, let me start it now. I get it that we're in the era of saying, oh, rap isn't selling a lot. I'm going to get to what Tusi said too. Rap isn't selling a lot and blah, blah, blah. Bro, that's not what it is. People have to stop thinking that rappers sell high numbers for years. Rap is all about, hip-hop is all about trends, fashion, what's in, what's out. 1 year it's in, 3 years later it's whack. That's how people treat rappers for the most part. There are certain rappers who are the exception, but for the most part, that's what it is. There was a time everybody was trying to rap like, try to be on that West Coast sounding type of vibe, 2011 to maybe 2014. There was a time that everybody was trying to be Southern. There was a time that people were trying to hop on the Memphis vibe. There's a time that people were trying to be on some Florida shit. Time people were trying to be on some New York shit. It all goes around. So for me, I see people so shocked when they see these guys don't sell because they look at the name. Now, most of these guys are torn off their catalog. He's gonna go anywhere and be like, I'm around for my motherfucking nigga. Like, that shit's gonna go up. But what people keep thinking is that an artist is just gonna get. Y'all remember 50 Cent? Remember the first time 50 Cent supposedly flopped? Like the first time he flopped, right? The first time 50 Cent flopped, right? It was shocking. It was like, oh my God, like I never thought that, he would get this little or this, not much of support, but it happened. People grow out of things. And even with the very best artists, right? The very best artists, even with the most substance. Let's talk about the Nas's and the Jay-Z's. If they don't constantly keep their foot in that mainstream rotating circle or revolving chair where they always have a hit or they're seen as hot, at one point their sales are going to suffer. That is what's happening. So let me tell you this, and this is a part of the YG thing, but I'm gonna go on to other things. With YG and a lot of these artists we're about to talk about today, we have to acknowledge that hip hop has finally closed off an era. And this is why when I get to Dirk, it's going to be so important. Because Dirk's next project is going to tell us, will he last? Will his run continue? Will this go up? Will this happen? Or is it over? Because what's happening is, like, everybody keeps saying music ain't selling. It's not necessarily it's not selling. Look at Travis Scott, Days in the Rodeo. When people hear shit they like, they still support. They still stream it. Now, granted, we'll talk about that too because that was a lot of bundles. I'm not going to lie. But still, the idea that music no longer sells or people don't stream music is not true. The fact is we are at a turn of a new generation and people want music from new niggas with the updated styles, the updated flows, the updated this, that, and third. And if you're a mid-tier rapper, historically, and you're not one of the legends like a J. Cole who could take 3 years off or take whatever time off, or a Kendrick who could just pop up every 5 years whenever he wants and people still want him, if you're not one of those people, you're cooked. If you haven't, when's your last Billboard hit? I was shocked at people. I wouldn't say this is a flop for YG. When's the last time YG had a top 30 song? Let's be honest. Why would you expect anything more? The name YG? Okay, cool. We like the name YG, but again, when you sell, your first week sales are usually indicative of consumption. Here's also the thing, and I'll mention this now because this really categorizes the streaming era. You know why some labels, like, say, is he still on Def Jam? He might be. If this is Def Jam, they're probably not mad at the 8K. I'm gonna tell you why. You might be like, what? What label's not mad? I'm gonna tell you why. Even if maybe they spent more on the album than it's going to generate in the near future, even though they have till eternity to make their money back. But whatever. I'm going to tell you why they're not mad. You know why they're not mad? They're not mad simply because of one thing. In the streaming era, your catalog matters more. Let's go, and I know y'all hate when I use Drake as an example, but I'm sorry, he's just one of the artists that we just know the most about. This new $400 million deal, a lot of that deal, or why they offered that deal to Drake, is leveraged by the fact that they own a lot of his back catalog. Let me explain. In streaming, this is how it goes. Like, for example, let's just go to the Billboard charts, right? So we go to Billboard charts. If I'm right, a 2012 release, right, is 44 this week. Do you understand why in streaming, if you're a label, sometimes you just need your artist to drop that their old shit keeps getting bumped? Remember, you're still making money off of this joint, Good Kid, Mad City, like it's a new project. You don't give a fuck. So, for example, and let's go to Drake. Drake's right below, For All the Dogs. Yeah, Drake probably monetarily makes more off of this record, and they probably split, whether the profits are. It's a different profit split. But I'm probably sure that maybe one of Drake's other albums is on the 200 list. Maybe Take Care. I don't know. Let's look up Drake. Drake. Take Care. Look, Take Care is at 62. So for Universal, okay, we're getting 30% when you for All the Dogs. But 10 slots below is Take Care, we get 90%. So labels, and now let me get back to YG, a label is not going to give too much of a fuck about certain artists as long as they're not asking for mad money. Now, if YG says, give me $10 million or I'm not dropping, they're like, see you later, sucker. But if they're like, all right, I'll work with the budget you give, I'll drop again. You know what they know? In streaming, when somebody drops a new project, it makes people go listen to their best or oldest project. So, again, the game is kind of like, for these labels, they don't give too much of a fuck. I can't really clown YG as again, obviously, this ain't dope numbers. It's 10K, right? It's 10K. It's not really lit numbers, right? So I'm not here copping for him. So it's not really lit numbers, but it's like, what'd you expect from YG? Like, bro, I haven't heard a hit song from the nigga in a while. So if you want to say he flopped, okay, cool, he flopped, but it's like, what did we really expect, right? So that's my thought about the YG, the YG thing, doing 8K. The bigger picture is this: we're at the precipice in hip hop. Everybody keeps saying hip hop ain't selling, and I'm here to say, yes, it is. It ain't selling for you. A lot of artists. I keep telling people a hip-hop artist is like a running back in the NFL. If you last 3 years, that's an average 3 years starting. 3 years starting, that's an average career. 5 years, you're pretty good. If you running back starting for 5 years, you're pretty good. If you approach 10 years, you're a fucking legend. That's how hip-hop is. Every 3 to 4 years, the ecosystem of hip hop and the listeners turn over. Keep in mind, I know y'all want to say the kids don't, a lot of what's popular is dictated by the kids, the 16s to 21s. And if you think about it, what you would probably listen at 16, you would listen to at 28, if you guys are older. So what I'm trying to say is that you get to realize there's a turnover factor in hip hop. I believe we've hit a turnover factor, okay? Most of the artists that you've seen do numbers in 2020 and 2019, we're 4 years later. You're saying, how did they flop? Yeah, they flopped because number one, their music wasn't prolific enough to continue, and people have just moved on. There's new artists on the West Coast that people are listening to. There's new everything. Anyway, let me play what Tusi said.